Happy Monday, my Cridersville students, my wonderful fourth graders. It is Monday, March the 23rd, and I'm missing you guys more than ever. So I talked to many of your parents yesterday and said, oh, if the kids are doing something, please send me a picture. So I'd love to see your faces. So we're going to get right to it. We're going to look over the problem that I sent to you guys on Friday. And here is what it says. A roller coaster takes about 4 minutes to travel its 1,970-foot track. How many feet does the coaster travel in 1 minute? So if we were to draw this out, we've got our roller coaster here. Now you can't see that very well, can you? Let me try a different color. Should have tested my markers first. All right, I'll go back to the red here. This one isn't that great either. Okay, so the roller coaster, here's our roller coaster. And we could put our little boxes here for our little roller coaster cars. Okay, and it says it takes 4 minutes to travel 1,970 feet. Okay, it takes 4 minutes. So if we have 1 minute here, 1 minute here, 1 minute here, and 1 minute here, that takes a total of 4 minutes to travel. Okay, so there's our minutes. Hope we can see this okay. All right, so we want to know how many feet does the coaster travel in 1 minute? Well, if a coaster travels 1,970 feet in 4 minutes, all we have to do is divide this up into minutes, and that will help us to figure that out. So we're going to do some long division here, and it's been a little while since we've done this. So we're going to take 1,970, so we're going to set up our little dog house here. We're going to put our 4 minutes beside that. Then we're going to put our 1 and our 9 and our 7 and our 0. We'll put lines in between those. And then I'm going to put a little multiplication symbol over here. We're looking for our quotient here, our quotient, the dog, all right? So if you have, let me do this, there we go. We're going to start by counting by 4s. So 4, and I'm never going to say the number 1 when I count by 4s. So I'm going to put a 0 up here. Can you see that? No, not very well. So then 4 times 0 is 0. And that gives us a 1 here. We're going to take that 1 and we're going to put it up here by our 9. Now we're going to count by 4s again. 4, 8, 12, 16. I have to stop because if I go any further, I'm going to say 20, and I only need to get to 19. So if we go 4, 8, 12, 16, that's 4 times. And then 4 times 4 is 16. Now we're going to subtract. 9 minus 6 is 3. We're going to take our 3, put it up here to 37. Again, we're going to count by 4s. We have to get to 37 as close as we can without going over. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. I counted 9 times to get close to that. So I'm going to subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. Bring my 1 up here. Count by 4s again until I get to 10. 4, 8. That's 2 times. If I go further, that would give me 12, and that's too many. So it's 4, 8. So that's 2 times. And 10 minus 8 is 2. I have a remainder of 2. Okay, so it says, how many feet does the roller coaster travel in 1 minute? I have 492 feet or so in 1 minute. So 492, 492, 492, 492. Okay, now I'm looking to see, did I really do that right? 4 goes into 0, 1, and then 4 goes into 19. 4 times, that's 16. There's 9. 7 minus 6 is 1. Yep, I did it right. Okay, so I guess we have a little bit of a remainder here. So it takes about 492 feet to travel 1 minute. Okay, if we wanted to check that, we want to check our division. We could do 492 times 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 times 4 is 36. Carry your 3. 4 times 4 is 16. That's 1,968. Add my remainder of 2, and that's 1,970. Okay, a lot of work going on there. But the key, I think, is knowing whether to add, subtract, multiply, or divide here. And then once we know that, then we can do the long division. But here was our roller coaster. We knew that it went 1,970 feet in 4 minutes. So we broke that down into 4 minutes. And then we divided by 4 to find out how much each minute, how much would be in each minute. Okay, so that's the first one. Let me get rid of this. Kind of tape that up there. This whiteboard is kind of poopy. It doesn't erase very well, but it's okay. It serves the purpose. All right, now I'm going to put the second one up there. And this one was actually a decimal thing that we haven't done yet, although we've done parts of it. This one I'm just going to color in here. All right, you probably can't see that very well, can you? Let me move it down a little bit. There, maybe that's a little better. Okay, write each fraction as an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. Shade to the grid to show that the fractions are equivalent. So we have 1/10, and we know based on our place value chart that we write 1/10 like this. These are our tenths. These are our hundredths. And this is our whole numbers. So these are our ones. And if we had more, we could have tens up here and that kind of thing. Remember, this is your decimal point. This is where we always say and. So 1/10 looks like this. 0 and 1/10. And that is not showing up at all. 0 and 1/10. And if we color that in, we just color in one of those. Now, if we want to write this as a fraction and a decimal with a denominator of 100, we're going to do this. 1/10, I'm just going to color in one of these. 1/10 is the same thing as how much? 10 hundredths. Because I have hundreds here, and there are 10 of them colored in. How would we write that as a decimal? We would write it just like this, 10 hundredths. Okay? So these are actually equivalent fractions. 1/10 is the same as 10 hundredths. And you can see that just by looking at the difference in the two. All right, so here we have 8/10. And if we're doing 8/10, we know we're going to write it just like this as a decimal. And I'm going to color in 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8/10. All right. Now, how do I color that in as the same as hundredths? I'm just going to do the same thing. But instead of counting by tenths, I'm going to count instead of counting by ones, I'm going to count by 10. So we're going to go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. That's 80 hundredths. So 8/10 is the same as 80 hundredths. How would I write that as a decimal? Just add a 0 to it. That's 80 hundredths. Okay? Now the last one is 5/10. We write this one as a 5 here. So that's 0 and 5/10. And I've got 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10. How do I write that as hundredths? I do 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That would be 50 hundredths. And I'll write it over here. That would be 50 hundredths. Okay? So 5/10 and 50/100 are the same thing. So I'm just going to add a 0 to that. All right, this is going to be very useful to us when we do adding fractions or adding fractions with a denominator of 10 and a denominator of 100. This is going to be very helpful to us. Okay? All right, so I will be sending another math problem today, and hopefully you'll be able to get on to listen to that. So let's go ahead and put this aside, and let's look at, or listen to, Out of My Mind. All right, here we go. I'm going to have to remind myself it's been the whole weekend, so I need to figure out what we're doing here. Oh, that's right. They won. And they're going to... Oh, no, we don't know if they won. Do we know if they won? Out once the championship round began. Okay, they're doing the championship round now. Okay, so I couldn't remember where we were. All right, so let's look at, we're on chapter 25, page 218. OMG. What a night. I can't believe how everything turned out once the championship round began. That's what Mr. Kingsley explained. The questions this time will be a bit more difficult. Scoring, however, will be the same. The team with the best score out of 100 possible points will be our champion. He picked up the cards that contained the quiz questions and smiled. Here is question number 1. What is diplopia? A, double vision. B, left-handedness. C, a disease of the gums. Or D, a form of cancer. Oh boy, he wasn't kidding. This was going to be a killer round. I was sure the answer was A, though. Kind of. When the answer was revealed, double vision was correct. Woo! Rose Connor and I got it right. Claire missed it. Everyone on the Perry Valley team answered it correctly. The score was 3-4. Number 2, Mr. Kingsley said. Who is the composer of Rhapsody in Blue? A, Mozart. B, Gershwin. C, Copland. D, Beethoven. Bing, 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 bing. Thanks to my parents and Mrs. V, that was a little easier. I pushed the button for B. One person on the Perry Valley team got it wrong, and Claire messed up as well. That made the score 6-7 with Perry Valley ahead. Everybody could feel the tension. The next 20 questions covered things like lions in the jungle, gravity in space, famous authors of famous books, and math. Some of those I even got right. Bing, 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 bing. Even though Connor aced a hard spelling problem and Claire came through on a difficult history question, Perry Valley kept staying 1 or 2 points ahead of us. It was getting near the end of the round. Perry Valley had surged ahead on a math question and was up by 3 points. It looked pretty grim for us, with a score of 78-81. I glanced at Connor. Sweat dripped from his nose. Then Mr. Kingsley asked, the condition in which a person may be able to hear colors or visualize flavors when music is played is called A, synthesis, B, symbiosis, C, synthesis, I don't know how to say it, synthethesia, or D, symbolism. I grinned and punched in C. Not only was it one of Mrs. V's vocabulary words, it was me. I breathed a sigh of relief when I realized that Connor and Claire and Rose had also chosen the right answer. When the results were tallied, only one of the Perry Valley kids had gotten it right. The score stood at 82-82. It was time for the very last question. This one would determine the group that would go to Washington. I glanced at Rose and the others. I think we all gulped at the same time. Our last question of the evening, Mr. Kingsley began, is a mathematics problem. I groaned inside. Oh, there goes our trip to Washington. I may as well go back to room H5 and hide there for the next 1,000 years. Number 25, Mr. Kingsley said slowly. Lisa gets up every morning and gets ready for school. She takes 22 minutes to get dressed, 18 minutes to eat breakfast, and 10 minutes to walk to school. What time should Lisa get up so she can arrive at school at 7:25 a.m.? A, 6:15, B, 6:20, C, 6:25 a.m., or D, 6:35 a.m.? I need to add and then subtract. How do I subtract time? I need to see a clock. I'm getting all mixed up. Time is running out. I can't mess up now. It could have been C, but it might have been D. I thought about it a moment more. Then I pushed D, feeling like I was going to throw up. The answer lit up on the screen. Everybody on our team had answered D. Either we were all correct or all terribly wrong at figuring out time problems. 3 students on the Perry Valley team had answered D, and 1 of them had answered C. Well, it looks like we have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. I'm extremely pleased to announce that the team that will represent us in Washington, D.C. this year, the team we hope to see on Good Morning America with a score of 86-85 is Spalding Street Elementary School. I couldn't help it. I squealed, I kicked, my arms jerked crazily. I tried really hard to control it, but I just couldn't help it. My body went a little wacko on me. Shut her up, I heard Claire hiss. Shh, Rose whispered through clenched teeth. Thank you for watching our telecast, Mr. Kingsley said, throwing a quick glance at me. Please join us in 2 weeks when we televise the finals from Washington. This is Charles Kingsley. Good night. He signaled that he was finished. The cameras blinked to dark, and the lights blessedly clicked off. I couldn't stop kicking. My arms acted like a wind-up toy gone bananas. I screamed with joy. At least nobody noticed this time, because hoots and hollers abounded as dozens of people stormed the stage. Dad balanced Penny in one arm and the camcorder in another. Mom, Catherine, and Mrs. V rushed over to me and almost smothered me with hugs. Mrs. V tried to look as if she weren't surprised, but her grin seemed to be permanently attached. Mr. Dimming, the alternates, and all the parents of the rest of the kids on the team cheered and jumped and patted one another on the back. One of the parents streamed confetti over us. Balloons appeared from nowhere. Somebody in the studio turned the speakers up loud and played the song Celebration. People started to dance. It seemed as if 1,000,000 pictures were taken. Amazingly, lots were taken of me. I did my best to calm down and relax. Smile, Melody, a guy in a baseball cap called. Click, flash. Can somebody sit her up a little straighter in her chair? Click, flash. Hey, get a picture of the kid in the wheelchair? I think that guy was a reporter. Click, flash. Where's the winning team? Another reporter asked loudly. We want a picture for the newspaper. Why don't you kids stand around Melody? Okay, now, smile. Click, flash. I could barely see. Blue dots danced in front of my eyes. We want the winning team for a TV interview, someone else called out. Can we have them over here? People shuffled around and a stagehand helped us set up. Connor, Rose, and Claire sat in chairs next to me. Amanda, Molly, Elena, and Rodney stood behind us. Mr. Dimming stood next to Rodney. I hoped my hair looked okay and that I wouldn't look too goofy. The reporter silenced the crowd as the cameraman lined up and got into position. Good evening. This is Elizabeth Ochoa of Channel 6 News. I'm here in our studio as we speak to students from Spalding Street Elementary School, victorious members of the winning team of the Whiz Kids competition held here tonight. These are 8 of the brightest young people in our community who buzzed their way to victory tonight. Let's meet them. We'll start with the alternates in the back row, the youngsters who will fill in should one of the team members not be able to participate. Please tell me your names and ages, she asked as she put the microphone in front of each student. Amanda Firestone, age 12. Molly North, age 11. Elena Rodriguez, age 12. Rodney Mosel, age 11 and a half. That got a laugh. Mrs. Ochoa continued, and seated in front of me is the championship team. Please tell your names as well. My name is Claire Wilson, and I'm 11, and I got more right than anyone else on my team. Good for you, Mrs. Ochoa said. I know you studied hard for this. The reporter quickly moved to Rose. And you are? Rose Spencer, age 11, Rose said, sounding shy. What stands out for you this evening? The reporter asked as the camera moved in closer. I was on last year's team, and we lost by only a few points, so I'm really excited. It's really exciting to win this time. I'm very proud of our team. Rose was beaming. Great answer, and we're proud of you as well, Ms. Ochoa said. And now to this tall young man. Your name, sir? She asked Connor. Connor Bates. Hi, Mom! Connor spoke loudly into the mic. Do you remember the hardest question you were given tonight? The reporter asked him. I thought all the questions were super easy, Connor said with a grin. I missed a few on purpose so the other contestants wouldn't feel bad. Mrs. Ochoa burst into a tinkly laugh. How does it feel to be on a team with your very special team member? She asked. Hey, Melanie's okay. She's really smart. Let me introduce you to... but I wasn't about to let them steal my thunder. My name is Melanie Brooks, and I'm 11 years old, my machine said loudly and clearly. The reporter looked amazed. Well, this is astounding. How does it feel to be part of the winning team, Melody? I pressed my key for super. She laughed. Was it difficult to study and prepare for the competition? No. Lots of people helped me, I typed. What was the hardest part about participating tonight? Hoping I wouldn't mess up. She smiled. We all feel like that sometimes. Are you excited about traveling to Washington, D.C.? Oh, yes. Have you ever been there before? No. How will being on the winning team change your life at school? I thought that was a good question. Not much, I admitted. Then the reporter waited patiently while I took the time to tap the right words. Maybe kids will talk to me more. I talk to her all the time, Claire interjected. Both Rose and Connor looked at her with frowns. Huh? Rose said. Mrs. Ochoa moved away from me and over to Claire. So, you consider yourself to be Melody's friend? Oh, absolutely, Claire said with a bounce of her cinnamon-colored curls. She and I eat lunch together every day and test each other on questions for the quiz team. Melody's a lot smarter than she looks. Rose raised her hand to speak, but the reporter shook her head. I'm so sorry, but we're out of time, she told Rose. To the camera, she said, in addition to a great group of kids, we've just met two remarkable young women, best friends in spite of their differences, and members of the winning Washington-bound Whiz Quiz team. Congratulations to you all. I was stunned. Claire? And that's the end of chapter 25. So we're going to have to tune in tomorrow to see what happens after their celebration. Or maybe they're going to celebrate next. I don't know. I wanted to tell you that I'm going to be sending everyone out an invitation today to join us for a Zoom meeting in the morning. It'll be at 9 a.m., so we'll have to get up really early because I've been sleeping in a lot. And through Zoom, we will be able to see each other's faces and we'll be able to talk to one another. I'll be able to see you and you'll be able to see me. Mrs. Hilty will be joining us as well. So I will look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And I love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.